and whether it's the movement of rail cars as we go through the scenarios, same things apply. There's definite procedures in place, and those are well socialized. Everyone understands them, and the fact that you're able to reference them very specifically tells us that those plans are valid and meaningful. And finally, clear and understood task delineation. So as we went through our discussions, whether it was the role of the gentleman here with the nuclear power plants, or the railway car, the railway station, or what have you, the Ministry of Health even, and obviously the Mykolaiv representatives too. Clear delineation of who was supposed to do what. People had definite tasks within their lane, if you will, that they understood and knew that they had to accomplish. So we felt that within those different levels, whether it was at the, we would call the tactical level at the plant, or some of the support roles out in the region or the oblast, that the tasks were clear and you were prepared to execute those if you had to. On the improved side, again, these are meant to just be an observation that maybe there's some more discussions that need to happen. A mechanism to share information across agencies. I've seen that bullet on a slide in every country and state that I've ever worked in. So it's not unusual to see that. We struggle with it in the United States every day. Interagency coordination, things like that. We just have to open those doors, sit down at the table, and have open discussions about how we're going to achieve or resolve this problem set together with all of our resources. Unified operational coordination. Not only with the discussions of how we're going to do business together, but okay, with those resources, with the resources we have, how will we be able to accomplish and resolve this this problem set that we may have in front of us? That was 3. Number 3 was, what was it? Unified public messaging. In the days of social media has become a huge factor in the ability of governments and leaders to effectively communicate with the public. It's a struggle. In the United States, it's a struggle. Anymore, when you turn on the news, it's not necessarily the news reporter that's giving you information. It's somebody that sent in a video off of their phone, perhaps, that informs people of what's going on. So what is the reaction of the state and local leaders? You have to be able to harness that and have a timely response when an incident or an accident does occur, so that we communicate with the public clearly and effectively. It builds trust within the community between them and you as the leaders, and it will continue to be a struggle. We have evolved over years in the U.S., and now it seems much more deliberate in how early and how often we have leaders come forward, come to the lectern to say, this is what we know, this is what we think we know, and this is what we're doing. We will update you in 1 hour, and maybe we'll come back in an hour and say, well, there's no change, we don't know anything new at this moment, but we're here. We're here to inform you the best information that we have. And if that's all that you have, then that's the best you can do. Again, it creates, it helps to build trust between you and the community to show that you know what's going on, or you're using all of your resources to gather information, provide that to the community to keep everyone calm and safe. Okay. The fourth topic was have flexibility in your plans. So what we mean by that is, as again, I already stated, that it's a good thing that you have a documented plan in place. Whether it's an overarching policy at the state level or localized policies and procedures that you will follow. Our recommendation is that in the event something does happen that may not necessarily be written specifically in your response plan, to have the flexibility to be able to respond to that. In the U.S., we now approach things from an all hazards response or an all hazards position. So the plans that we have aren't so deliberate that we can't be flexible and change them a bit if we need to modify it to meet the specific threat or need that's happening at the moment. So building flexibility into your plan or allowing for that flexibility is one of our findings. And then finally, more frequent interministerial training. So forums like this is definitely a great start. You can do that at the local level or the regional level. We would always encourage that. And again, we struggle with those same issues in the United States to get different agencies together to talk about common things and also our differences and how we can use those to maximize our ability to respond appropriately. We use the term whole of government response a lot of times in our discussions, and it's really true. The challenge, however, is how do you make that a reality with knowing what you can do and cannot do versus what your neighbor can and cannot do. That's that gap that we're always talking about. How do you fill that gap so that we maximize everyone's resources, respond appropriately, make sure that we have no loss of life or minimize that as much as possible and keep the civilian population safe. That ends our portion of the findings, and so I would like to turn it over to our Ukrainian colleagues for theirs.
присутні. Безумовно, Державна служба з надзвичайних ситуацій, тут присутні колеги з міністерств, виконавчої влади борються з запропонованими пропозиціями, запропонованими висновками. І сьогодні американські колеги нам представили. Практично вони збігаються з нашими думками. Безумовно, з нашої точки зору Державної служби з надзвичайних ситуацій ми хотіли ще додатково відмітити основні позитивні аспекти сьогоднішніх навчань, які ми провели. Вони полягають в тому, що ми дійсно уточнили завдання для всіх суб'єктів реагування. Практично відпрацювали алгоритм прийняття управлінських рішень щодо організації реагування на надзвичайні ситуації на атомних станціях і під час транспортування радіоактивних продуктів залізничним транспортом. Крім того, дуже важливо, на наш погляд, було обсудити медичний аспект надання допомоги постраждалим населенню, персоналу, який залучається до ліквідації надзвичайних ситуацій. І також одним із позитивних аспектів наших навчань є те, що ми напрацювали подальші напрямки спільної співпраці з Агенцією зменшення загроз Міністерства Сполучених Штатів Америки, Міністерства оборони Сполучених Штатів Америки. Безумовно, є і певні завдання, які стоять перед нами всіма. Це в першу чергу перегляд і вдосконалення нашої нормативної законодавчої бази, тому що процеси в країні відбуваються дуже стрімко, зміна системи органів виконавчої влади, і це, безумовно, вимагає перегляду тих нормативних актів, які у нас на сьогоднішній день існують. Також, як було відмічено в ході навчань, ми відмітили необхідність удосконалення технічного оснащення підрозділів авіаційно-хімічного і біологічного захисту, як Державної служби з надзвичайних ситуацій, так і суб'єктів реагування місцевих органів виконавчої влади. Крім того, завданнями, які перед нами стоять, одним з завданням, які перед нами стоять, це, безумовно, удосконалення системи реагування на аварії під час перевезення авіаційно-безпечних вантажів важким транспортом. Крім того, як було відмічено в ході командно-штабних навчань, безумовно, Міністерство охорони здоров'я дуже багато завдань по формуванню їхньої системи. І тут відмічається, також було відмічено в ході навчань, необхідність покращення медичного забезпечення уражених внаслідок авіаційних аварій. І, безумовно, ми підтримуємо американських колег, тому що є необхідність проведення командно-штабних навчань на всіх рівнях. Безумовно, наступний рівень необхідно було розглядати як тренування суб'єктів реагування на державному рівні.
Відкрито.
Дякую.
Well, great. You know what? So what do you think about the observations presented by both the U.S. and the Ukraine side of the house?
Again, as Mr. Pillow stated, it's just a snapshot of past couple of days of discussion among your fellow interministerial from SCSU. We'll be providing the SCSU leadership with a full write-up in about 2-3 weeks from now. All the observations, it's going to be multiple pages. So again, this assessment is a way for you to take a look. If you could implement for the region or for your agencies, and if it could be any help to you, I mean, it's up to you whether you use the information or not. As I said to the general here, so this is the first series of many TTX we're going to be having in Ukraine. And we're going to keep building from each tabletop exercise, ultimately get up to a national level. And right now, between the State Department, with DIPTRA, and FEMA, and SCS, we have a plan for a big event about 18 to 20 months from now. So again, thank you for your participation. And right now we're going to take about 15-minute break. And it'll give us time to set up for the closing ceremony. So between now and before you leave, all of your US and Ukraine counterparts are going to still be here for any last minute discussions or clarification. Okay, so for next 15 minutes, enjoy your break. I'll see you back here in the chairs, okay?
На кофе все падает.
So I want to use a table.
Вы не туда камеру направили. Надо было его. Скотчик Красавчик. Звезда YouTube. То, что вы положили. Положится на пропагу. Что еще не положили? А ты? Ой, а среди кто-то лимон съел. Да, нет, сначала. Петрович, иди храни медаль. Что ты смотришь, мы пишемся. Смотри, не смотри, а запись уже есть, ты замалевался. Что ж себя дарит? Вот так не буду понять, чего вы граждане сегодня. Как по шее. Подойди ко мне, я там команду. Сколько? У нас на это дело сюда вести. Сюда вести. Я уже не скажу даже. Я вам флешку донесу. Он не дал сейчас. Так они уже готовы? Готовы? Михаил Ильич, а Леонид Васильевич давали команду какие-то кисти записать?
Да.
Через полчаса будут готовы.
До 10 до 11 сюда ко мне туда. Вот, а дальше способ.
Но я так понял, что через полчаса это все закончится, и они будут готовы.
Так не бывает. Раздадим, все знают.
Я говорю на Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 2 days, you have really been helpful and participating and being thoughtful and being transparent in all your discussions and presentations. It's down to the final hour. For our closing remarks, first we're going to invite Major General Kuczynski to give his final closing remarks, followed by Mr. Ethan Fleck from the State Department. So, sir.
Шановні колеги, хочу подякувати всім учасникам командно-штабних навчань за їх активну участь під час проведення навчання. Думаю, що висловили думку всіх, що навчання були дуже цікаві. На першій базі ми почули від наших колег чудові презентації про їх структурні підрозділи, задачі, функції. Можливо, для когось була почута нова інформація, для когось стара, хтось повторив або згадав те, що вже знав, але вважаю, що теж було дуже корисно. Ну і під час другої фази навчань, коли обговорились практичні питання, вважаю, головне, що було зроблено, це налагоджена покращена комунікація між всіма суб'єктами, які задіяні під час ліквідації надзвичайної ситуації. Доточені були плани ліквідації надзвичайної ситуації. Важливий момент, що ми побачили деякі проблеми і питання, які потребують розв'язання їх в майбутньому. Почули досвід наших американських колег і дякуємо за те, що вони з нами поділилися і діляться їх. Тому вважаю цілі нашого навчання досягнуті. Хотілося б і далі проводити навчання як на регіональному рівні, так і, як ми вже говорили, на більш високому національному рівні. Тому що це дає змогу підвищити рівень наших структурних підрозділів, як на місцевому рівні, на регіональному рівні, на національному рівні. Підвищити їх рівень до потенціалу для ліквідації надзвичайних ситуацій. ТКН або природного характеру. Ще раз хочу подякувати нашим американським колегам із Агенції зменшення загроз Міністерства оборони США за цю чудову можливість проведення таких навчань. Представникам Держдепартаменту, Надіємося, що такі навчання будуть сприяти подальшій укріпленню нашої співпраці і двосторонніх відносин України і США. Дякую. До зустрічі. До наступних навчань.
Hey, next I'd like to invite Mr. Nathan Black for the closing comments for the U.S.
Thanks very much, Jim. So 2.5 days ago, when I stood up here and delivered opening remarks for this event, I told you that this was my first time in Ukraine and first time in Mykolaiv. What I didn't tell you is that this was also my first time participating in a response training for a CBRN event, which is what we did here. As a representative of our foreign ministry of our State Department, I go from assignment to assignment, and usually those assignments are in our embassies in foreign capitals. So I'm very new to the assignment that I'm in now, and this for me was a fantastic introduction to this entire effort, the cooperation that we have with other countries, and in particular with Ukraine, on improving our response to what could be catastrophic events. So of course, I think all of you know that that is why we were here for these past couple of days, to make sure that we understand how we respond or how we prepare to respond to these types of events. And I must say I was very impressed with the level of participation and with the commitment of all of you to working through the scenarios that were presented in a very serious way and in a very active way. And I think that contributed, as we've heard, to a very successful event. And again, I myself was very impressed, and I learned a lot, both in terms of how Ukraine responds, but also in how states cooperate with you to make sure that the response of all of us is better. So I do think we accomplished a lot over the past few days. And, you know, as other people have already said who have spoken here today, the key to making sure that we're consistently striving to be better is to continue to practice. So I think events like this are extremely important. I'm very pleased to hear that we have agreed with the SES and with the government of Ukraine on a program to continue this sort of cooperation over the next months and years in events of increasing complexity and increasing, I think, level of participation and focus, and I think that's an excellent thing. I know that the U.S. side, that we from the State Department and our colleagues from the Defense Threat Reduction Agency and from the Federal Emergency Management Agency are all committed to continuing this cooperation and to continue working with you in this process, again, of ensuring that all of us improve in our response to, again, I think no country, we don't have to tell Ukraine the likelihood of this sort of contingency, of this sort of event occurring. You have experienced this as much as anyone has. And so, again, I think that that experience informs the level of seriousness with which you approach this subject. So I know the next event that we will hold in cooperation with you will be a national level exercise in Kiev in the spring. And I'm sure that we'll see many of you there. I hope that the results of the further trainings that we do are continue to be transmitted and communicated, and that the series of exercises and the series of events like this, whether it's with our cooperation or not, will continue. So I hope all of you will think about what has happened over the past couple of days here and continue to think about lessons that you may have learned, or observations that you may have, or ideas that you may have to improve the overall response of all of the agencies and the entirety of the Ukrainian government in being able to respond to these sorts of events. So I just want to make sure at the end that I thank a few people. I'd like to thank, first of all, the SES for being such an outstanding partner for us. Ruslan Mikhailovich and your entire team, thank you very much for the commitment that you have shown and the partnership that you have shown to us. I think it's been an outstanding partnership, and I'm very happy to be here and experience it myself. I'd also like to thank our interagency partners. This is a whole of government effort on the part of the United States as well. So again, from DoD and the Defense Threat Reduction Agency and FEMA, our Federal Emergency Management Agency, I think that we have shown that we can cooperate well together, which is, I think, a good sort of posture to be able to bring to cooperation with other countries. So I hope our cooperation and our teamwork shows to all of you, because I think that that's important, again, for all of us to be able to take away as a lesson from events like this, that we do need to cooperate, that these are very complex and serious events that we're talking about, and so we do need to, as closely as possible, work together. So the rest of the U.S. interagency that is not here, but that does have a role in response on the part of the U.S. to events like this that may take place in our country, are also part of the team. They may not be here today, but they participate as well. So again, that's a very important, I think, takeaway lesson from what we've done here is that all of the government, all of the pieces and parts of our governments have to work together very closely. And finally, I'd like to thank the city of Mykolaiv and Mykolaiv Oblast. You have been very warm and gracious hosts to us. I come away from here with very warm feelings myself. I hope I will have the opportunity in the future to come back here. Certainly, I will be back in Ukraine. Again, even though this is my first time here, I'm already planning to be back in a couple of weeks for a different event. I won't be back in Mykolaiv, but I hope that in the future I will have the opportunity to come back. So thank you again very much to all of you for your participation in this event. And thank you again to the U.S. team for the great partnership and teamwork that we've shown. And I will turn it back over to Jim. Thank you.
Thank you to the gentleman for a well-deserved closing comments. Okay, so as you know, an event like this is not easy to come by. It takes a lot of effort and it takes some good leadership to hold an event like this. And with that, we'd like to recognize some key personnel from Mykolaiv and from SES Kiev for putting this event together. So at this time, I'd like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Randy Cody. He'll present on behalf of DITRA to the following personnel. By the way, Randy Cody is a team chief for European Cyber Preparedness Support Europe. May I have the following personnel front and center? I apologize if I mess up your name. With Tasenko Maxim, head of the main department at SCS, Mykolaiv Oblast, Mykolaiv. Here. Next person is Lavienko Sergey, head of the SCMRC of SCS in Ukraine, Kiev. Again, these are just two of the general.
Okay, so I just wanted to thank you for hosting this very productive TTX in your wonderful country, in the city as well. And I just want to present these gifts to you as a small token of our appreciation and friendship. And, so yeah, that's what I'll say again. So I just wanted to thank you for hosting us with this very productive TTX in your wonderful city. Please accept these gifts as a token of our appreciation and friendship. We look forward to working with you again on the next TTX in 6 to 8 months.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Scott Christensen to present the next two awards. Lieutenant Colonel Christensen is the new UCOM lead, so you'll be seeing a lot more in the future. First person I'd like to come up here is Olena Vukova. She's the head of the European Integration and International Cooperation Department of SCS Ukraine. The next person is Demchuk Volodymyr, head of the Emergency Response Department of SCS Ukraine.
Прежде всего, я просто хотел сказать всем, прежде всего, я просто хотел сказать всем спасибо огромное за помощь и за ваше участие здесь. И очень хотел бы сказать вам огромное спасибо за профессионализм и за гостеприимство. Такие программы и мероприятия невозможно без вашей помощи. И это серьезно помогает нам знать, чем мы можем помочь вам, и как мы можем работать вместе, чтобы развивать наши способности, чтобы мы смогли делать все вместе. Спасибо огромное.
Thank you.
All right, so there's one more person to be recognized, and I'll have that honor to present. This next person is a true professional, a true gentleman. I had a chance to meet him about 8 months ago. His true leadership and his ability to communicate throughout the SES community is far as none. It's been my honor to meet him, and also my true friend. If I could have Major General Ruslan Bashevsky, please come up, sir. So on behalf of the Defense Direct Research Agency and the U.S. Team that's here, I'd like to present this award to the General. I'm just going to read it real quick. In recognition of SES accomplishment in counter-weapons of mass destruction, preparedness for Ukraine, this plaque hereby presented to you for your dedication service to your country, presented by Defense Direct Production Agency. Okay. Now we'd like to recognize the participants. What we have here is a certificate of participation for all of you. And what we're going to do is we're going to call you up by name, And you also have a picture that we taken yesterday. We presented to you. This time I have the general, Mr. Cliff. Can you please come up here to present the certificates to participants?
Геннадій Герасимчук. Маргарита Куста. Едуард Лосинович. Алла Біліковська. Ольга Сіпов'яс.
Представник. Задоручник.
Олена Іскун. Вадим Іщенко. Вадим Іщенко. Марина Васильєва. Иван Колесников. Виктор Парагоний. Дмитро Соколов. Андрій Бочаров. Володимир Лисиченко. Юрій Козловський. Володимир Клочко. Олег Кавнаус. Євген Пронін. Петро Камінський. Олександр Вискович. І Віталій Каратай. Дякую. Михайло Гриб. Микола Панасенко. Максим Грицаєнко. Вячеслав Бонь. Сергій Туманов. Дмитро Бахчевак. Сергій Кобилинський. Віталій Шпак. Анатолій Долотолов. Валерій Баклан. Тетяна Кутузова. Ільдар Німатов. Андрій Дівонів. Тетяна Тимошенко. Олександр Довиченко. Сергій Шишко. Олександр Кучерявенко. Сергій Бала. Олександр Сіньков. Олена Бейкова. Олександр Савченко. Дмитро Мац. Андрій Самойлов. Людмила Вероніцька. Олександр Антошевський. Олег Сивак. Микола Шульга. Богдан Стагній. Сергій Письменний. Андріан Шкатенко. Ірина Заворотня. Тимур Імбеханов. Олег Подолій. Олег Гіцюк. Руслан Білошицький. Олександр Шкуренко. Аплодисменти всім.
So for those of you who did not get a certificate, please come see us afterwards. And we'll make sure that you get your certificate. And also for those participants that are not here, but you know them, please pick up their certificates for them also. We also have pictures too, so hey, before you leave, also take a picture that we took yesterday. And finally, final admin note, for those of you from the Kiev region who still need to get paid for your per diem, there's a room, as soon as you exit the door, there's a room to your right. Just go see Chris, he's ready for you to distribute funds for the person that has to pick up their money. With that, I'd like to bring this tabletop exercise to a close. Oh, hang on.
Ми ще хотіли декілька слів сказати. Від української сторони. По-перше, подякувати Миколаївській області за чудову організацію цих навчань. І ще раз подякувати американській стороні також за організацію цих навчань. Від імені української сторони вручити наші скромні подарунки. Дякую. Це пам'ятна монета, яка була приручена на даті 100 років першому пожежному автомобілю на Україні. Ця монета була презентована під час виставки «Постер», яка відбулася тиждень тому в Києві. Тираж цієї монети 40 тисяч екземплярів. Але вона вже, я скажу, затримана і вже дуже дефіцитна на Україні. Можливо, цього. Тому зараз ми
And the first coin goes to Mr. Jin Lim. He's happy to enter the program, you come integrated program management. And the second coin goes to Mr. Ethan Glick, US State Department. Next coin goes to Mr. Craig Levy, U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency. Next coin goes to Lieutenant Colonel Scott Christensen, Civilian Preparedness Program, Ukraine country lead. Lieutenant Colonel Randy Coates, Siberian Preparedness Support Europe. To Mr. Alex Braverman, State ISM, Yukon Lead. To Mr. Jim Pillow, Lead Exercise Facilitator. To Mr. Dave Castillo, Lead Exercise Planner. To Mr. Maverick Anklade, Exercise Planner. To Mr. Chris McKee, Logistics Specialist.
Давайте ще раз подякуємо нашим американським колегам. Ми можемо зараз.
Thank you, General, and City of Nikolaya. This is a great event. Again, for an event for me to participate, this is an honor, and I really believe that we have success in this whole engagement. We really want to participate in it. And again, until we see each other again next time, thank you very much again for everybody. And I officially bring this event to a close. Thank you very much. We'll see you.
Дякую всім.
Так, так.